Hello and welcome back to the battlefield at Jena Auerstadt. It's now 7 p.m., 1900 hours on the 12th of October. That means night has truly fallen, dusk is after all at 1800, and so we can talk a little bit about what happened today and what things look like for tomorrow. Let's start over here. We can see at the far left that Murat's forces have reached Eisenach and they're preparing to move in the morning. They're next to them in that little gap that we see right there. We see Landsmen positioned. They've, however, sent out that cavalry battalion, that division, I should say, to go and try and find out what's going on up at Gotha. But what beat them was Davout's men. Davout, having had seconded to him that cavalry unit that's just to the east of Gotha, has found the Prussians. Those are Ruchel's men. They've decamped from Gotha rather than being cut off, but they've decided to hold this line. Over here at Erfurt, that's where you will recall Blücher and Ruchel met. They're now obviously having conversations, although they're not sharing all of them with the Empire. And that's just fine. They're talking one to another, and they've decided to hold this line, at least for tonight, in the hope that there is no attack from these combined French forces. I imagine they're then going to try to escape to the east. Down here, you'll notice at Arnstadt, that's a hard push by Marshal Davout. He sent those troops up to determine whether or not that bridge is held or not. He's discovered it's not, and Davout is planning in the morning to conduct a pretty aggressive movement in an attempt to try to capture our Prussian friends. We'll see how far they escape. There again we have Bernadotte camped at Saalfeld, having told everyone where he is. Well done, Bernadotte. Down here we have the continued presence of this this is the better part of 3 French corps, including Marshal Bessières and Napoleon himself. This is Ney, Augereau, and Bessières, all gathered together trying to figure out what happened to the Prussians at Hof. The answer, as you know, is they went off this way. I made a rare decision to let Guyot divide his cavalry in 2. They're the ones that are encamped here at this little town southeast of Schleiz, and also over here in this second piece that's marched up to Plauen. They know now that there are no Prussians between Schleiz and Hof, so instead they realize that they're probably headed this way, which is correct, and therefore they're going to march in the morning. The problem with these gentlemen is just a couple hours ago, they ran out of gas. According to the rules, units may only march for 20 hours at a time before having to rest for at least 4, and that's where they all stopped. Up here, of course, we have the balance of the Prussian army, which is hoping to fight a defensive battle much more up in this area. And I'd be remiss if I didn't tip my hat to the brave lads marching down from the reserve from Magdeburg on their way to Halle. They're doing quite well. The next step, for those who don't know the rules for the Flight of the Eagle, is that we're going to take the evening to measure the fatigue. This is going to determine who's tired, and eventually, if they're tired enough, they begin to lose morale. So that begins soon. Night's fallen on the battlefield. We'll see what tomorrow brings.